Now I have one question for you. What's happening in your neighborhood?
Well, good evening. I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church, and we're here on What's Happening in Our Neighborhood. And tonight is a special What's Happening in Our Neighborhood because I have our superintendent, Dr. Shannon Allen, with us today. Good evening, Dr. Allen.
Good evening, Pastor Sharp. Thank you so much again for the opportunity.
Hey, it just seems like yesterday we were on here talking about the beginning of school.
It was, and we are still at the beginning of school. You know, it's just a different time for us in Southeast Texas, but we are still at the beginning stages of the school year.
Well, Dr. Allen, I know that we began school on the 17th or the 18th, and now we're in this situation with the transition of Hurricane Laura. So how are you and your staff doing?
You know, we're doing well. We're checking in on our staff right now, sending out impact surveys as a result of Hurricane Laura and the impact, on our organization. We've sent out surveys to our students and our staff, just checking on everyone, because we have staff members who live in parts of our area that were devastated by Hurricane Laura, Orange, Lake Charles, so we're definitely reaching out to those staff members and supporting them in any way that we can. Beaumont was blessed, we were blessed in our community, but of course our neighbors are really and truly struggling right now through this difficult time.
Yeah, because you have some staff members that drive in from different cities, Orange, Lumberton, just from all over the area. So, they have been impacted by this storm.
Yes, again, we're reaching out to identify those staff members who need additional support and trying to meet their needs as best as we can. We're continuing to pray for our area, the entire community, as well as those areas that were hardest hit.
So what's your plan for this transition for Hurricane Laura, for this week in particular?
Well, last Monday was when we made the decision to go ahead and close the district so that we could allow our stakeholders, our families, our teachers to evacuate. After we actually closed school, as you know, our county judge issued a mandatory evacuation, which we had already closed school on Monday at 1 o'clock for the remainder of the week so that families could actually evacuate, because this was a serious, predicted to be a category, 4 hurricane that was predicted to hit our area. So we went ahead and made that decision to close school. After the hurricane hit, we continued to do an assessment last week, really assessing our facilities, assessing whether or not we could actually, or when we could resume virtual instruction. For us, we were very fortunate because the major concern has been power outages at our facilities. When we returned, we had over half of facilities who did not have power. So the power has been restored over the past several days to just about 100% of our facilities. We only have a couple of areas that do not have power. So we feel like we can resume virtual instruction this Wednesday for our students, because that was a key piece. You can't resume instruction if, we don't have power in our facilities, and of course, power in the homes and in our community.
So there's so much that goes into making that type of decision from last Monday to say, okay, we're going to take off this time to make sure that our people are safe. So who is in the planning process with that, Dr. Allen?
So, I meet with my executive leadership team, my cabinet members, and of course, we look at the entire situation. I know oftentimes, Pastor, other districts in our area are making decisions. In this particular instance, other districts had already made the decision to go ahead and close school for the week on the previous weekend. And myself, along with some other superintendents, and of course, I do network with superintendents in our region, and we talk about plans and how we're moving forward. But every district is different. Every district has different needs. Every district has been through different circumstances that would prompt them to make certain decisions. So we made the decision based on, of course, looking at the current forecast, looking at what decisions our city had made. Our city had not closed, had not issued a mandatory evacuation or shut down. So we looked at all of those factors, as well as I work with my team to say, hey, look, let's make the decision that's best for Pullman ISD. And of course, I inform my school board and let my school board know what decision we're making. and then we push that information out to our staff. We decided to, because Zoom was out, I think we had a network outage on Monday, but I knew going in that we weren't going to make the decision to close until we have all the information. And at the end of the day, it's a big decision when you're closing school, and you're taking into consideration, your employees, you're taking into consideration your parents. And because we have the largest school district in the area, it's not a decision that's ever taken lightly. And sometimes we're criticized because we wait to the last minute to make decisions, but we always want to maintain safety, and we want to always maximize the instructional time that we have. So we look at all those factors before just making a decision to say, hey, look, we're going to be out of school.
And not only that, though, Dr. Allen, but you partner with the city and county officials to help and assist in those who need to evacuate.
Yes, I mean, we have a memorandum of understanding with our city so that when we have a tropical storm, when we have a national disaster, we partner with them. They utilize our facilities, they utilize our buses. We work as a unit in order to help evacuate and move citizens in the community to safer locations. In this instance, we had hubs set up at different schools throughout the city where our bus drivers picked up community members, parents, staff, students, anyone in the community, transported them to Westbrook High School where they boarded charter buses to be evacuated. So anytime there is a disaster or there's a tropical storm or a hurricane, we work and partner with the city to do our very best to meet the needs of the entire Beaumont community.
Now, earlier you mentioned that you're in the process of checking out all the facilities to make sure that they're safe to get back into, correct?
Yes, and we've been doing that since we returned on Thursday. And of course, we've had some minor damages currently. Of course, we're still continuing to do deep assessments, but the major issue has been the power, which has been restored to almost all of our facilities. But we're still checking to make sure that everything is safe and ready for our staff to return.
Now, when is that time for return when they'll be resuming classes?
Our students are going to resume virtual instruction on Wednesday, September 2nd. So that's when our students will resume. Pastor, we kicked off on August 17th, our first day of school, which was 100% virtual. It was a historic first day of school because that's the first time that we have ever started a school year where we didn't have students physically present in our school buildings. And, our teachers have worked so hard transitioning to a new way of instructing, a new way of teaching. And as I visited campuses on the first few days of school, and I saw our students engage with our teachers virtually, via Zoom classrooms and Zoom meetings. I was proud of the staff and proud of the students, for really and truly uh, meeting a challenge. And this has been a challenge. It has not been easy, especially for many of our staff members who are so accustomed to being face to face with students and not having the opportunity to do so because of COVID-19. It has put many of our staff members in a situation where they had to learn a totally new way of instructing. But I'm proud of them because they have worked hard, and we've had some challenges during that first week. We had some glitches; things were not perfect, but we have risen to the challenge. Staff has learned; they are making adjustments, and they are doing what is necessary to educate the children in Beaumont ISD. So I really am proud of them for that. So we go through 5 days, well, 6 days of virtual instruction, and then we get hit with another hurricane in our community. So, I mean, it is stressful, for our staff, but we're working hard to do the very best that we can for our students, no matter the circumstance that we face.
Now, you still need parents to complete the registration for their
Yes,
students.
absolutely. We started school on August 17th. We had over 13,000 students actually registered, but over 17,000 enrolled. So even we have students who are enrolled and participating in classes, but they have not completed the online registration process. And we are we are requiring that all parents complete that process, please. You can do it online. You go to our website at www.bmtisd.com and click A plus registration. There you will be walked through the process of how to actually register your student online. So we need our parents to do that if they haven't already done so. But I know that we have kids who are actually participating in school virtually, who are participating in Zoom classes, who have a schedule and have a teacher, but they haven't undergone completed that process. So our teachers are reaching out individually to those parents. Our schools are reaching out to those parents to get them to go ahead and register their students. But we're not kicking kids out of the system or depriving them from participating in virtual learning. We just need them to complete the process. And this is traditional. During any school year, you always have to register. So we're asking our parents to go ahead and get that process completed ASAP.
Now, Dr. Allen, you have a goal to put a device in every child's hand. So how is that process going now?
So we ordered 5,000 devices, Chromebooks, back in March. And actually the end of March or beginning of April, and 4,500 tablets. We have received the 5,000 devices to go along with around 7,000 devices that we already had in the district. So we have been distributing those devices. You know, we made a commitment to putting the device uh, in the in every family's hands until we get to one. So we're not there yet. We have been distributing devices continually from our campuses. Parents need to reach out to the campus if they need a device, if they don't have a device in the family. Because we haven't received all of the devices that we've ordered, we are asking the number one, parents use their own devices first. And if they have none, reach out to the campus to pick up a device. We have distributed many devices, thousands of devices into the homes of our students. We do have Wi-Fi, portable Wi-Fi for every student. So parents, if you haven't picked up a portable Wi-Fi device, you need to contact your school to set up a time to actually go by and pick up that device. As soon as we receive additional devices, we are launching and deploying those devices to our campuses so that they can be distributed to our students. We are also working with the state of Texas, with Texas Education Agency, for a bulk order of devices. We've ordered an additional 8,000 devices so that we can put more in the hands of our students. The unfortunate problem is this is a problem across the nation. There is a device shortage, and there is a significant time lapse within which, once we order devices, within which they are actually shipped. So right now we're working with TEA to order additional, which we've already done that, and an additional 8,000. Ultimately, Pastor, we're going to be in a one-to-one situation where every student enrolled in BISD will have a device in their hand. It's just taking time because of the back order and the shortage of devices in the nation.
Now, let's make it clear, Dr. Allen, that the parents can get a device for their child once they register their child in the system.
Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification. You know, if you're not registered, you will not receive the device. So please go in to the system and register online. Registered students are those who qualify to receive a device.
So let's talk about virtual learning and talk about how that's going.
So, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, our students are working hard, our staff is working hard, delivering virtual instruction, you know, setting up. Our teachers have assigned times when they host live face-to-face sessions on a daily basis. Students can, they engage our platform, or they engage their assignments in preloaded videos and submit their assignments through Google Classroom. So we started and things are going pretty good. The concern that I have right now and some of the feedback that I've received has been that some of our students have been unsupervised and have actually posted things in the chat and during the Zoom classroom, or that have been inappropriate, or have not necessarily been dressed, or have made comments and posted things that are distracting to other students and that are inappropriate and that would never be allowed in a traditional classroom. So we are asking that our parents, number one, monitor and supervise students. You know, we're reaching out to those students individually who have made inappropriate comments uh, during a live classroom, which prohibits other students from learning. But we have reached out to them and their parents and will continue to do so. But we're asking our parents to really and truly talk to their students, work with their students, and monitor them when they are on the Zoom platform, receiving that engaged instruction.
And that's important, Dr. Allen, that the parents be a part of the partnership with the schools in educating their children.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't do this without our parents. I mean, we need our parents now more than we've ever needed our parents, because they are serving as substitute teachers right now, as that teacher in the classroom. Our teachers are delivering instruction, okay? They are checking in with students, they are delivering instruction, but that parent is really vital to the student remaining on task, vital to the student submitting assignments, vital to that student's engagement and appropriate behavior, and ensuring that they are working through their assignments and doing what they need to do. Uh, Mind you, Pastor, our virtual instruction and our virtual platform is different than it was when we first started remote instruction back in March. I mean, it is totally different with the level of engagement from our teachers and our staff, but the commitment from the parent remains the same. And that is the commitment to ensure that their child continues to be educated in the home, setting up a workspace, setting up schedules and routines so that students, continue to learn throughout this process. That is one of the things, that is one of my greatest fears, is that, many of our students, are not maintaining that same level of engagement. And we do depend on our parents to support the students' learning at this time. It's not going to be forever. This is just the season that we're in because of COVID-19, where we are depending 100% on the support from the parents to partner with us to ensure that learning and engagement still occurs for our students.
Now, the first 4 weeks for sure, we're going virtual learning, and the possibility of going 8 weeks. I think you said that the school board have voted to extend 4 extra weeks.
Yes. So originally, of course, we were approved, the board approved for the district to apply for a waiver to extend virtual learning beyond the first 4 weeks, so up to 8 weeks. However, with this Hurricane Laura and the missed days of instruction, which actually we've missed about 5 or 6 days of instruction, or we've missed days out of our original 4 week transition period. So I will be requesting to see if we can get those transition days back. I'm not certain if that'll be approved, but that is a question for the near future that we're investigating to see if we can extend our transition period a little bit more, because part of the transition period is supporting your teachers, supporting your staff, making certain your facilities are ready. When you shut the district down, you lose that time. So we've lost the transition time that we actually needed in preparing for our students to return face to face. So more information to come on that in the near future.
Yeah, and because I was going to ask that question about the makeup days for this Hurricane Laura. Will there be makeup days? Because I think you had built in that in October, that 1 week to transition.
So we built in intercession weeks. We changed our calendar earlier last spring to include potential makeup days in the event of COVID shutdown, or for us, of course, hurricanes. We built in an extra week in October and February for, we call them intercession days if they're not needed for makeup days. But for us, they will most likely be utilized for makeup days. We don't have that final, that is not official at all, but that's the intention of in those additional days in October and February for potential makeup days. So, we weren't anticipating using them so quickly, but they are there for that purpose.
Okay, now even though we're still doing virtual learning, you still have the feeding program going on, correct?
So we plan to resume virtual learning on Wednesday, as well as resume our feeding sites, have our feeding sites back up. We have 10 sites, several sites throughout the district where parents can pick up meals from 10 to 12:30. And those sites will be up and running. The same sites will be up and running on Wednesday. That is Administration Annex, Marshall Middle School, King Middle School, Amelia, Charlton Pollard, Vale Price, Guest, Jones Clark, Peach MacArthur, Beaumont United, and Early College High School. From 10 to 12:30 on Wednesday, those sites will be back up and running.
And they could go online and go to the website and see those locations so that they'll know exactly where they are.
Yes, all of the information is posted on our website. We also have a back to school portal that has all information related to back to school that parents can click there. It's a one-stop shop for all things related to back to school.
Okay, Dr. Allen. Well, now one last question for the day is: what about athletics? What do we look right now on football, volleyball, or any other athletics that's going on for this year?
I mean, we're still on target following UIL guidelines and guidance for the start date for practices, that has not been suspended at this time. So we're still planning to engage. If parents choose to have their students participate in athletics, this is still scheduled right now. I don't have the exact dates in front of me for when those practices begin, but they will begin very soon if they haven't already done so for some of the sports, some of the fall sports. So right now, it's still on.
Well, wonderful. Hey, one last word, Dr. Allen, before we let you go, because I know the night is going. Hey, but I always want to mention that the parents self-serve online, that parents need to take advantage of that self-serve.
Yes, parents, if you haven't already done so, in order to register, you have to go through parent self-serve. So I'm so excited that so many more of our parents, because we have had over 13,000 enrolled, they have updated and have access to parent self-serve, which is an awesome way to keep in contact, to keep abreast of your child's grades, their performance in school, their attendance. It's a great opportunity to communicate with a method to communicate with teachers. So we are encouraging our parents, all parents, to sign up for parent self-serve. You can go to our website and click on parent self-serve button, and you can get signed up if you haven't already done so. But keep your username and your password, because you need to use it every time you access the system.
Okay, Dr. Allen, any last words before we go for the night?
I just thank you, Pastor Shaw, for your support. I thank our community members. We've had an overwhelming amount of support for the work that the district is doing. Again, this is a time that no one ever anticipated or expected. We're dealing with hurricanes on top of a pandemic. We are working hard. We are working consistently, and we are doing the best work that we can in spite of the challenges that we face. So I, appreciate the support that we have, and continue to ask for support, from our community, from our stakeholders, as we engage in moving, continuing to move forward in the district. But thank you for your support. Continue spreading the word, about the information that's shared, so that we can keep our community informed on what's happening in the Beaumont Independent School District. I want to thank our school board members. They do a phenomenal job supporting the district and making some of those tough decisions that we need to make in order to meet the needs of our students.
Well, as always, Dr. Allen, I want to thank you and your staff for what you do to educate our children here in the Beaumont Independent School District. Hey, listen, and as always, we're always praying for you, that God's best will be on your lives, and that you would have the necessary support in order to push us forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Pastor.
Well, listen, once again, I want to thank Dr. Allen for joining us tonight. Now, don't forget, parents, school starts again on Wednesday. That's right. Virtual learning begins on Wednesday once again. If you have not registered your child for class yet, go to the school district's website. There it is right there on the bottom of the screen, www.bmtisd.com, or give them a call at 409-617-5000. Also, parents, the feeding program begins again on Wednesday also. Again, it's on the website. All the information you need to know about the school district is on the website. Go right there to the website. And so once again, I want to thank Dr. Allen for joining us tonight. And I want to thank you for joining us on What's Happening in Our Neighborhood, this special edition. And so we'll see you next time on our broadcast.
Now I have one question for you. What's happening in your neighborhood?
exercises to help your leg get better or help your arm get better. So that's what I actually went to school for. But while I was...
Very good. And thoughtful. We want to think about what we're doing. We want to think about making the right choices. Say thought.
You multiply.
That's what's going on with X right now? Right here.
You guys are going to get to do an activity where you guys get to tell me your favorite thing, so I can't wait for that. So yes, I do definitely feel that the pandemic has united teachers together. Here at the school, I feel like we've bonded because we're all kind of going through the same learning experience together. It kind of has evened the playing field for teachers. You know, we don't have veteran online teachers. You know, we're all going through it together. We're learning stuff together. We're sharing the knowledge that we learn. We don't know what the future looks like at this point, but I'm excited because I know that if I bring that excited energy every day, my kids will be there as well, virtual or in the classroom. If I bring the correct energy and excitement to my class, they'll feel the same way.
Good job. So when you are at home, and anything can happen any day, and we just know that we can lean on each other and encourage each other, motivate each other, and it just really comes to a place where we know that we are here for love. We're here for one another. We're here for the children, and COVID has really just brought us together and let us understand that we do love each other.
Yes.
Okay, so what is our variable?
X.
All right, so our variable. No one saw this coming, but when the district announced that freshman, ninth grade students would receive Chromebooks, every student would get one, I started preparing kids for virtual learning at the time, not knowing this pandemic would occur. And so actually the students that I had last year, they already know about these platforms and are familiar with it, able to probably help younger siblings or someone else looking forward, just taking it one day at a time, dealing with challenges as we're faced with them, and mainly looking for solutions to the problems and not dwelling on problems, but looking for the solution and moving forward.